They want one point of contact and then execution and throughout the world, in all the countries and all the regions where they are doing business.
I think it is very natural to know that there are language differences and there are communication style differences that is posing a huge challenges for us to work globally and virtually.
I mean, we have 150,000 employees in about 178 countries around the world. And we cannot be successful if diversity, multicultural, richness is not a key component of who we are and how we do things.
When it comes to management and development plans, then the exposure to other cultures and other ways of doing business is a key success factor in HHP's philosophy.
We have been very core in focus about not only what we do, but how we do it. So a lot of the focus is around character, capability, and collaboration. However, capability, character, and collaboration means different things for different people in different cultures. So we spend a lot of time helping leaders and employees in those specific cultures to really have workshop and engagement to discuss what is a conducive collaboration methodology for that country.
And if you look at HP as a global company, there's a lot of commonalities, even though the cultures are different from one country to another. But we have a backbone of values, if you want, that you can find everywhere.
So my team that I manage, I have 8 direct reports in 4 different countries, in 3 different time zones and very different cultures. There's one person from India, there's one person in France, one person in Switzerland, people in various locations in the US. You stay in touch with your people, you try to see them on a regular basis as travel expenses and travel budgets allow. You have regular team meetings, and if that sense of community and collaboration that HP gives you as a whole company, you have to live that on a daily basis with your employees and with your teams.
From a motivational and training perspective, Hewlett-Packard is a company who very focused on our employee. The way that we started to rally our employee and have employee to feel excited about working in Hewlett-Packard start with a very compelling business strategy. What does Hewlett-Packard stand for? Supporting customer and supporting employee. So start with the foundation with a compelling strategy. Then we do a lot of work in helping our employee to really see how the work linked to supporting the strategy. And after that, we also want to make sure that we commit to develop our employee so that they're skilled and experienced, are current and competitive. And then once they're able to deliver according to the company performance, we need to reward them accordingly. When I say reward, it's more than financial reward, non-financial reward. They feel they are growing, they feel they have a great environment, they feel enjoying working with the peers. In terms of country differences, we have country whereas social interactions, social gathering is very important. So in some of the country, like in China, we invested a certain financial element to create a social gathering so people can interact more, they enjoy more.
So when I say that we have a performance evaluation process that's consistent globally, for example, it's going to look at some of the key leadership behaviors that we want every single employee around the world to have. Now, the way it's being applied and the way you look at passion for customer, for example, which is one of our key values, it's going to be demonstrated differently if you're in Asia than if you're in Europe or than if you're in the US. So when you do the evaluation, you need to keep that cultural difference in mind when you do the evaluation, because the behavior that the person is going to show is going to be different than in Asia than in the US. However, what you want to look at is passion for customer, whatever the behavior that is being shown in order to get that.
We have a very formalized performance evaluation system. However, we also understanding setting objective is very unique and specific for the country. So when I manage my Asia Pacific employee, when I have performance discussion with them, I normally will highlight, yes, you are doing fine with those, but let's focus on those 4 or 5 development areas going forward in the next 12 months. So a lot of the employees are expecting to hear from the manager what they can do differently. Then when I moved to Canada to take up a North America role, when I use the same approach with my employee, the employee we immediately react, oh, you're jumping into the development area, that means I'm not doing a good job. So when I do performance assessment with my employee now in North America, I will use a different approach. I will start with, there are the 7 things that you are doing very well, and congratulations, Hanks, this is outstanding. And by the way, there may be 2 or 3 things that you can do differently. The way that the message is received are much better. The way that I do it in Asia Pacific cannot be working in North America.
The fact of living in a different country is really bringing you a very different sense of the differences in terms of the culture, not just through work, but also through the personal life that you have, and how you can, from time to time, match and understand better how people are behaving differently at work because of the culture. And by living that from a personal standpoint, you really come to better understand some of the work behaviors that you may have touched, but maybe not completely understood before having that experience yourself.
So before we assign an expatriate to a different location, those individuals probably and most likely to be on our high talent potential pool. But how we measure and assess them, there are 6 dimensions, but there are 3 dimensions which is related to global. Does the individual have a global mindset? Does the individual respect diversity? Does the individual able to collaborate across boundary? When we talk about collaboration across boundary, is between country, region, and the business, but also collaboration across businesses.
What HP and HR fosters is having common values, is collaboration, teamwork. These are some key pillars in the overall model for HP, and HR is obviously, again, the catalyst in making that change and creating that community spirit within HP.
When I started to work on a global role, whatever learning and employee development solution I need to think broadly. It's not a US North America solution, but it's something that can be still conducive for people sitting in France or in Korea or in Hong Kong. And so the way that I think about and approach business challenges are very different.
We talk a lot about the results and what we do, and that's very important, but the how we do it is critical to our success. And in a company of the size and the global reach that we have, there's no way we can be successful in the what if we don't take that diversity into consideration and we don't try to leverage that diversity as much as we can.